It is Monday, and that means it's time for Moohead Radio. I'm your host, the big and free bovine. Look what I got. I got Brian from Phoenix. I got Bronk from England, and I'm going to make a lot. I was going to say I was going to make a lot of Cleveland Browns fans unhappy, but I don't have that many viewers. I don't have a lot. So basically, I have some very strong feelings that are developing about this team. And none of them are really very good right now.
You're catching feelings, huh?
Well, I started thinking about what is it that's really wrong?
Why is it?
Yeah. What's wrong with the picture? And
I don't know.
And so I'm coming slowly to a realization that, and I'm not looking through the schedule and going week by week and saying, I think we'll win this one. I think we'll win that one, but we'll lose this one.
Ridiculous anyway.
In the context of the AFC North, I mean, right up front, I have the Browns number 3 out of 4 teams. Okay. Right. And I don't think that that should be unusual. And here's why I think this way. The problem that the Browns have right now, if there was just one, people are pointing to injuries, and I get that. Their offensive line, they should have moved on from Conklin. They should have been proactive. If they had an identity to be a run-first kind of team like they were running backs and tight ends, which is what Kevin Stefanski was all about, they should have damn well made sure that their offensive line was shored up. They should have been able to do something to get some effective offensive line players during this period of time that guys like Conklin and now the never healing, there was the never ending story. The never healing story is Jedrick Wills. And, we're not going to be able to protect any of the quarterbacks, whether you like Watson, you don't like Watson, whether you would rather have Winston or whether you'd rather have Camels or Lucky Strikes, whatever the case may be.
Huntley, where did that fucking come from?
Oh God,
they were calling
because he's Snoop. A dog.
Well, can I address the chocolate elephant in the room?
Sure.
Why in the hell was Mike Hall on the football field?
I guess to the best of my knowledge, Brian, and I'm just guessing because on the surface of it, it really looks pretty open and shut. But players, the union and the team's relationship with the union, that they're not a court of law and they have to let justice take its course. And you can't steal a man's living and livelihood from him until he has broken the contract that he signed. And that would be a deal breaker. They get the $4.6 million back.
But look what happened to Kareem Hunt. I mean, the incident happened in Cleveland, and Andy Reid chopped him off at the knees and cut him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it couldn't.
And in that situation, the Haslams did the right thing by, you're only going to make $1 million, and then we're going to make you jump through every psychological hoop we can before you can get on the field.
Well, I don't think Mike Hall's going to make the team. I don't think he's even going to make the team. I think this is a moot point because when it's going to happen is when it's going to happen. But no, I think everybody knows how does my dumbass
here she comes. Here she comes to ruin your day.
Oh God. Maybe we shouldn't tell her.
Well, you click on the StreamYard link.
It should be right there in the YouTube show description, okay?
Yeah, the StreamYard link you click on, so whatever device you're using, and you probably use a lot of different devices. So
yep. So I better get my point in before she gets here.
Yeah, I won't be able to say anything. I might as well mute now.
Yeah. So, I don't think he's going to make the team. I don't think that anybody's going to touch him with a 10-foot pole. I think that this is due process. I think that Haslam was told by his attorneys, go through the due process of this. So, and let it run its course. But he's not going to start. He's not going to get time on the field during the season. None of that's going to happen. And then when it all comes down, they're just going to cut him. And then the Steelers will pick him up.
Well, every organization has compliance departments nowadays that are halfway decent. They'll know what the correct legal thing to do is. So we'll just let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah. So going back to the original premise of being number 3 out of 4 teams, why do I believe that? Yep. Why do I believe it? The answer is the 2 teams who are above us, Baltimore would be first, and then Cincinnati would be second. Then Cleveland would be third. Pittsburgh would be fourth. The reason is because they're all the top 2 teams are returning with the same scheme and system that they had the previous year. So nobody has a learning curve involved. The fact that Burrow's been hurt, that's a different question, and it's just a different issue. And the Ravens have gone through some change in their offensive scheme, but they know what they're supposed to be doing, and Lamar Jackson knows how he fits into that scheme. The Steelers are lost like we are ever since they made the mistake of holding on to Ben Roethlisberger far too long when they didn't have an apt replacement, and he was a statue and birds were shitting on him, for God's sakes, by the time that they pulled him off the field, and all they had to turn to were Mason Rudolph and and then
dude.
And then eventually Pickett, which didn't work out. They still haven't shored up their quarterback situation with the 35-year-old Russell Wilson, who quite honestly is
old.
He's old, and
he's old
at this point. A lot of check down stuff, and Justin Fields, who really has to prove himself, So
I don't know, man.
Yeah, so that's the basis of just the overview for the Cleveland Browns specifically.
For your list, Cincinnati would be the biggest caveat because they can win 8, 9, 10 games with Joe Burrow, but if they don't have him, then they're only going to win like 4 or 5 games.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, everything.
So to me, I think Schittsburg still has the defense to keep them in the second slot, regardless of how which quarterback they have.
Yeah, and I would be the first to admit that Cincinnati hasn't done anything to shore up their quarterback issue below Burrow. So and that's why they're not first. They're second because they at least have continuity and they have receivers and they have a scheme and a system. The Ravens have a prolific defense as well as an offense that puts up enough points to win regular season games, but not playoff games. All right. That's the bottom line there. And they're trying to shore up their running game so that they can be strong like they were a couple of years ago, so that it doesn't fall on the arm completely of Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson couldn't carry the weight, quite honestly, when in a throwing heavy kind of offense. That's not what he does. Now, the Cleveland Browns I just saw that the Steelers lost their starting center. And now we're going to have to, their second round draft pick is going to have to start the season starting at center. And if Pittsburgh doesn't have a meaningful running game, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are going to get killed. They're going to get killed.
Absolutely.
But we have lost 3 centers. Can you
top
this?
One, two,
And we're bringing David Talevsky in here
three.
too. Hi,
Oh.
David. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to the program. So my immediate feeling is the Cleveland Browns have lost, and it's so much. The left side, we don't have a left tackle. We don't have somebody who is going to be protecting the blind side of whoever's quarterbacking. All right. Here's the other thing with the Browns, that I can say that if Burrow is Burrow, Cincinnati will win double-digit games. They just will. Yeah. And if Lamar Jackson is able to stay healthy, they too will win a certain good number of games.
We can all agree on that.
Right.
My prediction was between 10 and 13 for the regular season.
Yeah. And now the Browns, on the other hand, have a real problem on their hands. Their top running back is not been because of injury, and nobody knows what's going to happen, but most likely they're not going to rush him back. If he has any chance to ever really play meaningful football again, they're giving him every opportunity, but we're not going to know until he hits the field. Probably, my guess is somewhere if they're really high on him that he can come back and play, he will make the roster. They will not dispatch him for the first 4 weeks, but he's not going to play week 1. All right. They may feel that, hey, he can play after 2 or 3 weeks, so we can get him back then. But the backup running backs, Pierre Strong is anything but. He is horrific. He could be taken down with one arm.
If I make a comment, I think our running back is going to come from the waiver wire. I can't see any of these guys that we got now starting week 1.
I mean, could you imagine saying Deontay Foreman was really a shining light and he averaged 1.7 yards per carry?
Awful.
But before he even got the ball, they're all crawling into the backfield.
Correct.
And Pierre Strong can't catch a ball out of the backfield either. He's got stone hands. So Pierre Strong shouldn't even make the fucking roster. I'm dead serious. He's not any good.
Yeah.
And that's the problem for the Browns. We've had a system in place, whether you liked it or not, that was based upon tight ends blocking, running backs getting short yardage, going for it on 4th down in such situations, throwing the ball.
And having offensive linemen that can pull and block.
Yep.
Get out front and road grade.
Yep.
And they don't have that now.
And not only that, but, everything down the middle of the field, intermediate, shorter passes, nothing going down the field. And now we've brought in Dorsey. And to be honest with you, I don't really know that the players know what they're supposed to do. And I don't see any evidence of Jerry Jeudy being a breakaway long distance receiver. Amari Cooper at this point in his career is a great route runner who can sneak by you if you bite on something, but he doesn't play a full schedule of games. And Njoku really emerged last year as being somebody who really was doing damage, but the predominance of it was when Joe Flacco was throwing the football. And I don't know what this translates into as far as, Njoku being covered heavily and Elijah Moore, who has proven not to be much. And I never expected him to accomplish very much. So if you're having trouble running the ball, it's going to force you into 3rd down and longs. And then you have the offensive line issues of not being able to protect your quarterback. And I don't see that changing. I think that if they try to get their starters playing, in week 1, that within 2 or 3 games they're going to be injured again. I mean, I have no doubt that Conklin's going to be let off the field, and we're going to be right back to where we started from.
Well, he did last year. He played one quarter, I think, or whatever it was. Something stupid like that.
There's other stuff too. As far as Deshaun Watson is concerned, there's no evidence that he is one thing or another. There's no evidence that he is successful or unsuccessful this year. But the odds are, in a new scheme with unfamiliar wide receivers, where he's coming off of surgery and an injury and he's rusty, it's not going to be pretty.
It's against him. Yeah, the odds are against him. And, I think we can all agree on that.
Well, and with the way that he plays, I just don't see him finishing the season.
Yeah, and that's
I think he's going to either take a hit on a blitz, or he's going to land on that shoulder, and it's going to tear everything that he had surgically repaired back open, and he's going to have to go through this shit even worse. And then you really do have a Cam Newton situation where the balls are wounded ducks. He's missing guys by 3 yards. I mean, you saw this play out with another guy.
Well, and the problem with Deshaun Watson, he has or had, I don't know whether we're talking present or past tense, an inordinate amount of physical capacity, and he has a beautiful touch when he was throwing the ball. He was a great downfield thrower when he was playing in Houston. But I really have questions as to two things. One, whether he will make it through 4 weeks of the season. That's the first thing that I have real questions about. And the second thing I have questions about are whether he is the quarterback that we traded for in terms of his physical capacity to execute a downfield throwing game. And my belief is that Deshaun Watson, after the first 4 games of the season, my belief is he won't be the starting quarterback any longer, or he will be injured. Because one thing we can say, even though with it comes interceptions, is that Jameis Winston still has his arm. That we know. So I really don't have high hopes in a situation where we have a system that there isn't time now to work on these things going into the season. And we have a bunch of people who are crippled up. And I don't see that as the stuff of being able to, make a run. It's different than the Guardians. The Guardians are a surprise, and everyone's waking up to the fact they can't hit changeups. And so they're throwing changeups at them, and they're not scoring any runs anymore. And now their lead is vanished, basically. But they've overachieved. I don't see the Cleveland Browns doing anything but panicking. What I see is if the offense looks really confused, like I have a feeling that it will, that the defense is going to go into full Jim Schwartz panic mode and start overcommitting and giving up big plays and trying to do things to make games close that will end up making games blowouts.
Yeah. I hope you're wrong.
And there's another factor to that. How long before the defense starts blaming the offense for their problems, if that happens?
Well, I think that what will happen is it'll all come under question. The whole change of the offensive format of the team, it will all be questioned. And the first one questioning it will be Stefanski, who wants to go back to 1-3 lineups as far as tight ends. But we don't even have healthy tight ends. We don't have 3 healthy tight ends.
Correct.
So they said the same thing on the radio. They said it doesn't work.
Well, you're getting wonky, David.
Your signal's dying.
Yeah.
I'm on the road, actually.
On the road
you should
again.
concentrate on
They're
driving.
probably going in and out.
Yeah. So I am trying to let you on, Michelle, but you're just sitting there and your microphone's not working. This is the last time.
Say something.
This really is not complicated. Just say something.
It's kind of complicated, okay?
What?
Well, you can't
It's kind of
talk.
complicated. Everything is complicated. I didn't want to have an echo, so I kept like rebooting it. So I'm trying to
Oh,
figure it out. Give me a fucking break, man.
okay. When you're on stream, Michelle, when you're on StreamYard, you have to mute the YouTube thing, or you will always end up with a bad echo,
Yes.
a
Correct.
delayed
That's
echo.
what I did. I had to like shut the YouTube down and keep
Correct.
the StreamYard open. But thank you for mansplaining me. I really appreciate it. It hasn't happened in almost 12 hours.
Ooh,
All right.
got that big.
And
head.
meanwhile, I will
Well, Michelle, you
explain
play
football
stupid
to
games, you
you.
win stupid prizes.
You know
Here's
what,
your Poopy doll.
motherfucker? Wait till I tell you about football and how it's supposed to be played, because you're talking stupid shit and you have no idea what you're saying. And our quarterbacks are dog shit. So whatever. Like, good for you.
Well, again, and we can't rely on Colt McCoy anymore.
No.
I miss
No.
Baker Mayfield. I miss Baker Mayfield so much.
You know what's amazing?
I miss Frank Ryan.
Oh, it's amazing. What's amazing?
What's amazing is Browns quarterbacks of the past. You've got one gets hired, one gets fired. Hickory dickory dock. Colt McCoy gets to be an NBC analyst for Big Ten games, right?
Really?
Yep. Colt McCoy's going
joking.
into the broadcast booth, and RG3 got shit canned from ESPN.
Who did I tell you would have a longer career? Guess what? We called this shit.
Yeah, Colt McCoy is the kind of guy.
Pew 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 pew.
It's a really good deal when you stop and think about it, because they don't want you to play, but they got to have a third quarterback, and you stick around forever. And same thing with McCown, all of those guys who were in the game forever, because better to have somebody with experience, even if they don't have an arm, than it is to have to bring in. Look, you're looking at DTR and Snoop Huntley, for Christ's sake, and it's ugly. I mean, they get the ball down the field and they throw interceptions. They're horrible. Neither of those players should be in the NFL. Neither of them should be there.
Yeah, but Snoop is going to get a job with some team if he's not on the Browns. He's absolutely going to get
poor
picked
Vikings fans. Tony the Calf. You know what he's
Fuck
going to do?
Vikings fans. Fuck
He's going to
Vikings
take rat
fans and
poison.
Fuck them. Fuck Tony the Calf too. And I hope he hears this.
Wow,
Fuck Minnesota.
You are salty today, Michelle.
I'm salty every day, baby.
David is saying to me, 5G ain't worth shit. And
well, it depends on where you have it. Mine's great.
you just woke up to that reality. They lied. What they're giving you is 4G plus. It's not real 5G. They never rolled out the real 5G because they're a bunch of lying bastard pricks. All right. And cell phones go down more often than porn stars used to.
Wow, then Riley Reid, huh?
The infrastructure is not,
or even Michelle.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say about me? What did you say about me? Bitch, you don't know me. What the fuck do you say about me? Say it again. Say it again if you got the mess. What'd you say?
I said, or just like Michelle.
Man, motherfucker, you don't even know who you're talking to.
Oh, come on.
Tell you what.
No, you're not. I'm not going to let this
now. No fighting.
Excuse me. I'm friends with Tony the Calf.
I don't care.
I heard all about your little excursion to Minnesota, honey.
I never went to Minnesota. I stopped there in a fucking plane trip one time and sat in a purple chair because it was Prince dedicated. So fuck you. That's the only good thing out of your fucking stupid state.
Hey, guys.
You want to get fucked? You're fucking with the wrong bitch, honey. I'm from Cleveland. You don't fuck with me. You don't know me.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
You'll end up getting bumped.
Yeah, well, I just deadened her mic. I can't. I'm trying to do a program here, and I got to have some
your
kind.
Platform. You do what you want, man.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it comes down to it's not like I'm doing that many programs, thank God.
Yeah.
But I think what it all comes down to for me with the Browns is they don't have depth, and they
Correct.
don't have a plan that is practiced. And maybe eventually Dorsey's offense will look okay, and maybe we'll have players who can fill certain roles that way. But right now, I think we're coming out and you're going to see Seattle, and I have a feeling they're only going to play Deshaun Watson a couple of series because right now we don't have anybody in front of him. There's nobody to protect him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand at this point what the point is to put him out there and get him hurt in a meaningless game. But if it doesn't happen this way, it's going to happen week 1, week 2, or week 3. Teams are going to hone in on the fact that he's not totally healthy, and they're going to come after him.
Correct.
And we don't have the running game.
We don't have a running blocker either. We don't have a blocking back.
Right now it's a mess. And I do not have a positive vibe. I will say this, though, about preseason. I don't make any judgments based on the players who were on the field. I'm making my decisions based upon who's not on the field, because these guys running around who are playing these games are simply awful. And they're not organized, and they're running no scheme at all right now because it's all beige and vanilla, Yeah. So we're going to go back and try to get David in here. Can you hear me okay, David?
I hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
You're better.
Yep. So, DJ
well,
Brobot,
the other thing is,
I took care of business. Yeah, go ahead.
The other thing that's really disturbing is the fact that they're giving up such a huge amount of third down conversions.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of who's on the field.
Yeah, they were.
They made Nick Mullins look like a fucking Pro Bowl quarterback.
Well, I mean, but who was out there playing? I mean, Devin Bush runs the wrong direction, and that's been the history of that player. He's not going to make the roster. All these players that you're looking at, maybe Mohamed Diabate, maybe he will make the roster.
Yeah.
But, I mean, other people, the other people that we're seeing out here are just people you can just toss. They're,
they're space fillers for the games.
Yeah. I mean, some of them will get moved to a practice squad. They'll work with them if they see, some kind of promise.
The younger guys,
Yeah. But the other guys, will just be scattered like they are looking for work next year at the same time next year, And Brobot is saying the Browns are a team to have a bad preseason and then lose in the regular season due to injuries. Well, they've had a bad preseason. They've had a bad preseason. And again, I think there's going to be lots of injuries in the NFL.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, you can't predict anything. I mean, idiots that are betting on who's going to win the Super Bowl at this point in time are just morons, because it takes for one of these senior quarterbacks to get hurt, and then all bets are off. So, yeah. I mean, what if Mahomes gets hurt at KC? What are they going to fucking do? Joe Burrow, we know. But
they have players up front to protect him.
Yeah, I mean, he lasts the whole season.
Now, Cincinnati has never proven to have an offensive front that can prevent Burrow from either getting injured or injuring himself.
And they don't have Joe Mixon anymore, so they don't have any fucking running game. They got left tackles that are hurt. So they've got
and they also have a paper mache defense.
Correct. So all this talk about the Bengals being a decent team is all down to Joe Burrow, and the coach is horrible. I mean, I think we've got a better roster than the Bengals. I'll go right out and say it.
3 and 4 in the AFC North ain't going to make the playoffs. Okay, that's what I'm telling you.
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, that could flip. Schedule. That could flip, and it would still won't make any difference for what fans in Cleveland want, which is to get back into the playoffs and to have a better outcome. This schedule is just going to be a whopper. And unless there's something, I see the look on Stefanski's face on the sidelines, and he doesn't look like a poker player who's got an ace in the hole. He doesn't
No.
look at all
They don't look
positive.
confident. They don't look confident at all, the coaching
He looks
staff.
nauseated by the mistakes that the team's making. Even their second, third stringers, they're still he's seeing guys go down like flies, and it's like a bad dream relived. Is Amari Cooper still in contract talks? There's been nothing different.
No
about.
idea.
Yep, I've
Not
heard
for
nothing.
now. I think they did some type of restructuring. I know that.
Yeah, and Jason, that's what I'm saying. If I were judging this based on the product I was seeing, I'd be disappointed every year in preseason because we have a bunch of bodies is what it amounts to.
Yeah.
The problem is the good bodies that we're waiting to see on the field week one, a lot of them are hurt and are uncertain as to whether they're going to be ready. And the biggest one of all, Jedrick Wills, and he literally the biggest one, and DeWand Jones.
Yep.
They
have to be able to play.
That's it.
They have to play.
And Jedrick Wills had an MCL repair, and he's not ready.
And he's fat. He ain't gonna help your MCL when you're carrying weight.
I mean, it's right now. It's questionable. I mean, and he may try to play, but if you're going into week one of 17 freaking games, you're not going to make it through very much.
No, it's terrible.
On the other hand, you could be in my boat, and your expectation for the season is maybe 3 wins.
Wow.
Maybe.
No, they're not. That's not going to be that bad.
No, I don't believe they'll be that bad. I mean, Jameis Winston could win more games than that. But
no, I think he's talking about Carolina.
The Panthers. Oh, the Panthers.
Yeah, judging by his cap that he's wearing, he's talking about Carolina.
I don't think. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to be that bad.
I don't think so either. They'll probably be 7-10, or
as long as he stays away from sugar, DJ Brobot.
Diabetes. Wow.
Yeah, I think
I don't think he has a chance because he's dead.
I think I did the right thing. I think Michelle is just having a bad day.
Yeah, we love Michelle, really.
Yeah. And we're not going to go 0-17, sweetheart. We're not going to.
We've already done that. We've come back from that abyss.
And this too, and that is an issue for Denzel Ward. We haven't even spoken about him because he's had yet another. This would be
why don't he quit? Why don't he retire?
That's why he's not playing.
He had,
and they have not. He's in the protocol. They have not stated he had a concussion because that would be 6.
He's got to quit. He has to quit. The poor lad. I don't want to see him crippled when he's 45 and can't fucking walk.
Yeah, I mean,
well, it would be more like dead. He has total fucking dementia and doesn't know what planet he's on.
Yeah, he'll fucks up your spine too every time you get hit in the head.
So I saw the play that supposedly he got concussed on. He was one-on-one with Elijah Moore, and the interesting thing is Elijah Moore's helmet flew off. So I'm thinking, how the hell did he get the worst of it and not Elijah Moore?
Well, that's because he's susceptible.
Prone.
Yeah.
And again, he's our best defensive back, and you can't count on him because there's obviously a problem.
I'm looking at it as precautionary because he was throwing on the sidelines the last practice they had.
Look, I'm not saying that he won't be back for week 1. What I'm saying is that when you put a guy into concussion protocol and you're asked directly as a question, did he have a concussion? And you get the answer, well, he's in the protocol, but we don't have any more medical information than that.
Mealy mouth bullshit.
It's bullshit is what it is because we're counting them on both hands now, man.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
That's what's shit about this organization is the amount of mealy mouth bullshit that they come out to the media and come out to the fans with.
All football is like that because the game is so freaking dangerous, I mean, it's and Burrow, Burrow to me is image, and
He's a dickhead.
he's about as fly as Vanilla Ice was, and I'm not buying any of this horseshit. It's all, again, people want to find the next great quarterback, but the fact is they have to do it on the field. Right now, Caleb Williams is going to be a guy that, he's really showing promise. I don't want to hear he's showing promise in preseason. I want to see regular season. CJ Stroud last year is a good example of somebody who
he kicked ass.
Yes, he did. And
he kicked ass. He was,
and I don't mean just ours. I'm saying
kicked ass.
He played
He learned the game. He played well, and he knew what he had to do.
And he's got a good head on his shoulders.
He's
and
best Ohio State quarterback, probably ever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but nobody really maybe felt that way when he was there.
They should have done, but that's another story.
Every player translates differently into the NFL.
Yeah.
And it looks like he has the ability to not only have touch on the ball, but he reads quickly. And that is the thing that never really gets tested in an overcoached collegiate situation.
Correct.
But with the speed of the NFL, that single factor is what made Tom Brady such a great quarterback.
Yeah.
And you never saw that at Michigan because it was all coached out of the game, you see. Yeah. You were going to where you were going, and it wasn't like Tom Brady was running the offense when he was at Michigan. That's not the way it worked. But once he got into the pros, his ability to find people at a moment's notice, I mean, and look how long he stayed healthy because he got rid of the ball. Yeah. But the comments about Deshaun Watson in preseason practices holding onto the ball too long, they just don't inspire me to be real feel real good about this. I don't think we're gonna miss Flacco. I think what we miss is having a draft and being able to draft players who can, I mean, right now, fuck the quarterback thing. It's the offensive line. Nobody will succeed if you have a sieve in front of the quarterback. Nobody's going to succeed at this level.
Tom Brady would get killed on our line. Yeah.
Can I mention the point I was making when I was in the car? The thing I was saying is with the whole scheme situation, Stefanski is probably going to get rid of Dorsey and go back to the Kubiak crap. So that's what they were saying on Cleveland radio.
I mean, that may well be the case because, again, I don't see how what they've acquired makes us able to play a deep, intermediate, and long passing game. I don't see that in the talent that we have or in the inability to have drafted pass protectors for the quarterback.
And another factor in that's going to piss off Jimmy Haslam because Haslam is the one who told him to change the scheme in the first place.
Well, I mean, I can't,
whatever.
Here's the other thing that I find interesting because we're talking about quarterbacks like CJ Stroud, right?
Yeah.
It can be as simple as a scheme. Look at Tua Tagovailoa. Look at that player since they got rid of Brian Flores as the head coach, who was a defensive head coach, and they bring in Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
Take a look
it's all down to McDaniel. Absolutely.
I mean, he runs a system. In his first season, he threw for 3,548 yards. Okay. And that was the season after Flores told him, give me the ball. You don't really belong out here. Right. And last year he threw for 4,624 yards and including 29 touchdowns and was a Pro Bowler.
And it wasn't last year when they had the massive comeback against the Baltimore Ravens?
No, that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Tagovailoa is a good example. He is injury prone. Yeah, that's the thing. You got to be really, again, looking at him. He's a small guy. But scheme, fitting in the right player with the right system. And CJ Stroud is in the right system. He's now has better receivers than he's had in the past even. They're going to be a
Yeah.
force to reckon with as long as everybody stays healthy.
Correct.
Going to be a real force out there. And I say you're not going to, we keep trying. God only knows. We've tried let's try Johnny Manziel bullshit. Let's try the mature 28-year-old rookie
Brandon
bullshit.
Reed.
We've tried everything. Let's try the underachiever from Notre Dame.
Let's try 2 underachievers from Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Fucking
right. I
dickheads.
forgot about Brady. Yeah.
Wow. That's the one I remember. I forgot Kaiser.
Yeah, the only one that went out on the Brady Quinn deal was AJ Hawk.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
He married her Quinn's sister.
Married his sister, yeah.
So again, I really don't think that the Browns are going to suddenly make the right decision at quarterback. And so they took the money route this time, and the money route hasn't paid off either. And you think that the motivation is good for the player who's not only coming off of an injury, but is literally been attacked by the media and despised by half of the fan base. I mean, he's got his fucking money.
Yep.
You tell me at this point, if you were in his shoes, and I don't mean what you committed.
Correct. Yeah, we know where you're driving with this.
Yeah. One. If you were mentally in his space right now, and you had, the $275 or whatever, $250 million in hand. Yep, in hand. And you're taking nonstop shit from half the fan base and from every single major national television source in the country.
And international, too.
You got what you wanted. Why would you strive for more at this point?
I would fuck off.
I don't think he has the heart anymore.
I don't think I would.
I would fuck off. I would absolutely fuck off.
And I don't, and it will be forever looked upon as another Browns gaffe, and like the big draft gaffes that teams make and have to live with for the rest of their lives. Yeah. That's what this will be like. But, I just don't see that just because it's like Jimmy Haslam got sick and tired of 3 tight ends and got sick and tired of dink and dunk ball and got sick and tired of double reverses on 4th and 1, that he's going to bring in some higher octane offense, but without the personnel to do it.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
It's madness.
So I just don't see a positive result from this.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but I'm agreeing with you. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm probably more optimistic than most people.
Before watching any of the preseason action, my gut instinct was this team would end up somewhere around 7 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly because Watson would get hurt for the season, and then you'd have the turnover machine in Winston to finish it out.
Hey, Keith, thank you. I read that and it totally slipped my mind. But yes, they're just gonna play him out. Play him off, Cat. That's what they're doing. And
here, I'll add this in. If this team gets another losing season, both Cleveland and Brook Park should tell Haslam to go F off. We don't want a new stadium to watch losing crap.
Wow.
And Keith, you telling me you want Michelle back? She says she'll relax. Should we let her back?
Oh, don't make me vote on this. It's your show.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Jason is asking if
but if she says please in the chat room, she should definitely let her back, because then she's being polite.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even caught up on the comments. What are you reading?
She says, "Let me back" in capital letters.
Oh, so she's demanding.
Yeah.
All right.
It's as big as a cow.
That's not very nice.
I didn't say it, Tom. Ollie did.
Yes. No, I know.
I'm
you're
not
saying
that far down. I'm still responding to people earlier in the show here, and
Yeah, I saw that too.
and I totally agree with Keith here. Huntley is not going to make the team. They're going
He's gonna get a job, but
I mean, DTR will be the third quarterback because of his age and
lack of salary.
Yeah,
yes, that's right. Because it could be a financial consideration.
Because he's a third or fourth round pick.
Yeah,
on a rookie deal. So I mean, you're barely paying him like the minimum wage in the NFL.
And it's really true. We don't develop quarterbacks and we don't develop wide receivers. All these people who we have in the practice squad, James Prochet, I mean, all these people that are on this practice squad, they don't, when one of our receivers goes down, they don't come up and make any kind of impact. I mean, it was amazing that people were thinking, what a mistake we made getting rid of Donovan Peoples-Jones. What in the fuck happened to him? He got lost in traffic in Detroit.
I have no idea where he is now.
I mean, the fact of the matter is he wasn't that good. He was like Derek Chiaverini back when the Browns started up again in 2000. I mean,
Wow.
What a name.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
It's stupid to think that
the bad old days of Chris Palmer.
Runaway train.
We don't know a good receiver when we see one. That's how bad it's become.
We drafted Robisky. Come on, we know great receivers. And Antonio Callaway. There's thousands of these guys we drafted.
Greg Little.
Greg Little.
Don't forget Kellen Winslow Jr.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was great at the Tri-C parking lot.
I think Double P doesn't like Joe Burrow.
No, I don't particularly like Joe Burrow either. But anyway.
Nobody's going to fill Brady's shoes, not even Mahomes.
No, I mean, that's
who cares about that?
It's a new age for football, and every new era of football, there is a quarterback who gets the grasp and grasps the concept of offense as it is in this time frame.
Yeah, in this decade,
Yeah, so that's what teams are looking for. And if you're the Texans, you feel real good right now. And if you're the Steelers, you're scratching your head and praying to the baby Jesus that Justin Fields, the lightning can strike twice out of Ohio State University.
He's not, though. He's not. He's like Troy Smith. For God's sakes, Mark. He's like Troy Smith.
Yeah. And I'm happy Joe Flacco's got a gig. I like Joe Flacco. I think he did wonderfully for the team. But, it was just a matter of time until it caught up to him. He's been a back foot interception thrower his whole career. And with the Browns' offensive line.
But by the same token, Stefanski had a quarterback who ran the offense the way it was supposed to look. And that's why you had wins.
I think that there's truth to that, too. I think that it was a matter of time, though, with the offensive line getting hurt and being worn down, that, Joe Flacco has no escapability. He had still had a great arm.
Well, and the fact that there was, as usual, there's not any kind of adjustments when they're playing another team again.
Yeah,
like what happened, like the playoff game.
And I'm reading what Keith is saying. He doesn't seem to be dropping the biscuit in the basket. Now, I'm looking even in just the practice footage that I saw of him, and it's everything's in tight quarters, and it's like watching DTR drop back and throw an 8-yard pass, and like two defenders around the ball, and somehow it gets slithered through. And it's like, wow, he was right on the money with that. But it's like, no.
That was very lucky.
Open. I mean, if everybody is congested.
And that's why you saw the tip pass go for an interception.
Correct.
Not that much later,
Yeah.
when they were going in to actually score either a field goal or a touchdown. Oh, and
Yeah.
shout out to Claude York for making another field goal.
Yeah, he's
Claude the cat.
awesome.
Yeah. So, and again, the reason is Watson holds on to the ball longer. And again, the question that I will ask as we go into the season is, can Deshaun Watson grasp the offense that they're implementing in Cleveland? And I'll tell you this. Sometimes you hear a guy who talks and he may not sound like the sharpest knife in the drawer, but synaptically, he knows exactly what he's supposed to do within a system and a scheme. But I'll tell you, I listened to Deshaun Watson, and he just doesn't seem like a real sharp knife to me.
He doesn't speak well at all. And
No,
he doesn't. No.
And I don't know
No.
if he was just having success in Houston because Houston wasn't being taken seriously and they had no defense, and he was putting points and yardage out there with good wide receivers who could get separation. But
Yeah.
a lot of questions are going to be answered. A lot of questions.
Well, shout out to the NFL for having this game start at 3 in the fucking morning for me, this Seattle game.
Yeah.
What a bunch of cunts starting at 10 p.m.
Well, I mean, it's the time zones, But I'm
Yeah,
going to do
it's
is I'm
great
going
for
to
Yeah, for me
Australia.
it's 7 p.m.
yeah. I'm going to go out karaoke and come back and watch the first half of the game. And all I want to see is what Deshaun Watson, how long they play him. That's going to tell me everything. I do want to make another prediction, though. The other prediction is that Nick Chubb is going to make the roster, but he is not going to play in the first 2 weeks of the season. He'll be implemented by week 3.
Expected.
That's what my prediction is.
Well, I hope he's okay,
Yeah.
He's fine. He's smiling.
Wow.
So,
He was
yeah.
smiling on the sidelines at the other game.
I'd rather have him wait till October when he can actually be the Nick Chubb that we all know and love.
Now, a lot of people are saying this about Stephon Diggs, that he just was starting up in practice again. And when he's complaining. And you know how it goes when you have, a guy like Pickens on your team. And it was the same thing with Chase Claypool. Who was the other guy in Pittsburgh who they had all kinds of problems?
Pickens, Claypool.
No.
Pickens,
No. The one that ended up on Tampa Bay and then fucking walked off the field.
Oh,
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. I mean, it spreads like wildfire. You could do everything right and one bad apple. And OBJ was the greatest example of that. He has caused hatefulness everywhere he's been. I mean,
Juju Smith-Schuster. Absolutely.
And they get people on their side. And it's
OBJ's
really
in Miami now.
Is he really?
He is.
Yes, he is. He's with the Dolphins.
I wonder how much the vice department of the Miami-Dade County PD is or sheriff's department is going to be up his ass.
Well, I don't think he's ever had drug issues.
Now, Keith and I were going to take.
Don't you remember the Paris photo? He had a tray full of fucking cocaine.
When the hell was this?
Who is this we're talking about?
Odell Beckham Jr. on his Paris trip.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You don't remember the tray of fucking narcotics he had in front of him?
No.
Yeah, this was when he was still on the Giants.
Well, I can tell you one thing. He was nothing but grief in Cleveland. And now, Keith, as far you bring up the name Baker Mayfield, who is a 500/sub 500 quarterback, and he was not the answer, was never going to be the answer. He's courageous, but he was stupid. And he's even on the talk circuit now telling people how stupid he was when he was in Cleveland.
He's grown up a bit.
Yeah,
recently.
that he was taking people on head first and all this.
Yeah,
and that it was a big mistake. But he's a box of rocks. And that's not the kind of guy, he could really get hot. But yeah, I mean, he was bipolar performance-wise on a football field. There were other times where the ball would sail like Boomer Esiason was throwing it. I mean, way over people's heads, directly into interceptions. He would hold on to the ball too long. He got slower and fatter as he played in Cleveland and lost any escapability that he once had. He is not a good quarterback. So can we stop that? We didn't have our guy. Please. How many people have to say no to that player before you realize he's not all that? He's not terrible.
First road playoff win in 50 fucking years. What have you done since? Nothing.
Yeah. And granted, he's not always on the best football teams, but
he should have actually won 2 fucking road playoff games because they should have beat the shit out of fucking Kansas City, except the ref fucked up the goddamn helmet-to-helmet call.
And wasn't that Stefanski wasn't great in that game either.
Now, you're asking a question, Tom. You don't really want to do that.
Wow.
That's not nice.
That's what I was laughing about.
Oh, that's
yeah. You need to scroll. Give you 30 seconds to scroll up through the chat because you're behind. It's all happening.
Yeah.
Actually, that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was about.
Double
that was about
P.
15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I love Double P. I'm done with Daniel Schneeman for the Guardians. I'd rather have Arias. I'd rather have herpes. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, that's no choice.
Welcome to Gonorrheaville, kids.
Yeah.
Forget syphilis.
Oh, that's no choice at all, man. that is like. So I wanted to say something because
great name, Schneeman.
Yeah, Schneeman.
Oh, fuck.
Oh God, it sounds like a Jewish auditor.
Come to Schneeman and Schneeman. Look at your accounting for you.
Oh yeah.
We're the best damn tax lawyers around. Damn it.
Yeah, and something jumped into my head that I wanted to say, and now it's jumped out of my head again. But I'll remember it because there was another story, and I'm trying to see if I can somehow. What is going on here with my? All right, I'm going to go back in time. A stat. I wanted to share a stat with y'all.
Not a stat.
A statistic.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And I. All right.
How unbelievable is it?
You're talking about Schneeman and people like that.
Yeah.
Double P. Lame Thomas.
Okay.
Is the worst acquisition that the Indians, Guardians, and any future name they have will ever make. This guy is fucking awful. He's awful.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I'm not only am I sure, I'll let statistics speak for themselves. All right. Here's the stats. Since he's come to Cleveland, he's played 16 games, and they wanted him to play against righties, lefties. They wanted him in the 2-hole, if you remember. 16 games played, 53 at bats. He has 6 hits, is hitting 113, and has struck out 23 out of the 53 times.
That's grim. That's
40% strikeouts, can't hit the ball, has 0 runs batted in. 0. Okay?
Wow.
0. All right. Now, How bad is he? I think that, the Washington Nationals are laughing their ass off.
Yeah.
We gave them Jose Tena, who's only played 5 games now since they brought him up.
He's probably got more
at
hits, though.
He's batting .438. He has 3 runs batted in after 16 at bats. And he's only struck out 3 times on the 16 times he's been up. For God fucking sake. That is the worst.
You clearly haven't heard what happened to Alex Cobb, have you?
No.
He's on the disabled list for 16 days.
For how many days?
53 is pretty bad.
16 days because he fractured his fingernail.
Oh, come on. Are you being serious?
Look it up. I'm telling you, it's true.
How did he fracture his fingernail?
I don't know.
I think it's just like Bauer and the fucking drone. It's all.
Yeah, it sounds like a drone to me.
They don't want to play. They don't want to. I don't know what the deal is. The team they're absolutely fucked.
You may not remember this, but there was a time when Sammy Sosa had a sneezing fit and fucking threw out his back, and he was on like the 30-day DL for the Cubs.
Yeah.
That's just not fun. I've had my back lock up when I've sneezed before.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, but you weren't in Sammy Sosa's level of conditioning, I guarantee you.
Yeah, probably.
Or steroid taking, allegedly.
Yep.
I didn't really see this. Yeah. Starting pitcher on injured list. Unbelievable.
Really?
Oh, great. And Anthony Gose has rejoined the club. The team is going nowhere. Just give up. Give up. Just, you know what you do? Just take your lumps.
480 bridge.
You're going to break the White Sox losing record.
Wow.
It's going to hell in a handbasket. A fractured fingernail.
And now Captain Wrongway Peter Peachfuzz is the new manager of the AA Ottawa Guardians.
God knows. Oh, and then before I got to get out of here because I got a life that I live. But
really, what?
Here's a headline: ticket prices are dropping for Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. I wonder why that would be.
Oh God!
I mean,
I think we want to see that live.
Nobody wants to see another. I've been watching things about fighters. There was a fighter named Todd Foster, and he had the misfortune of being brought up in Montana, where there was really no boxing, and his father managed him, and he ended up becoming a really rugged challenger. But like, most fighters, they get that one big opportunity. They couldn't quite get over the hump. And then they get put in with more and more tough fighters. And, they end up in all kinds of tough brawls and all that. And today, Todd Foster is so damaged that he has brain damage. He doesn't talk properly. He has his body doesn't involuntary movement of his body, like Parkinson's,
spasms and shit.
Just horrible. I don't want to see Mike Tyson in the ring. I don't want to see Jake Paul in the ring either. I don't want to see anyone who's exploiting people who are old and well past their primes. They killed Jerry Quarry. They've killed so many fighters. It's, letting them go back into the ring one more time, and it is just awful. And I'm watching.
I don't want to see Jake Paul's brother in WWE.
Yeah, I'm watching biographies. There's a guy named Rich, the fight historian, who puts up a lot of stuff on YouTube, and they're really nice videos because they tell you about how they started out, and then he shows big chunks of their big fights. So you get to relive those fights, and you can see that in many cases they were really good fighters. They just weren't the absolute elite fighters. Yeah. So I don't want to see people like that getting hurt.
Oh, you know who died today?
Bill Donahue. Yeah.
Yeah, old Donahue. So there you go. He was like Oprah Winfrey before Oprah Winfrey. Say that really quick.
Yeah. It's
Hedgehog of Doom strikes again.
Yeah, and again, it was the long illness. They never specify.
Yeah, you probably had his family surrounding him. Like, never have your family surround you. That's when you die.
Yeah, but he obviously. But I saw a video of him from 2023.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know what the issue was. If he, but whatever it was, it's too bad. 88 years old, and
that's
old. He certainly had, Keith. I'll tell you what. You can get a private room on the internet, and you. Wait a minute, I got something in my eye. All right.
Oh, I told him, well, hey, she doesn't live that far away from you now, Keith. You can just go up north and have a fucking date night.
Wow.
He's a baker, bro. I'm not saying he had a great opportunity. He didn't have a great opportunity playing in Carolina, and Tampa. We'll see. He got him into the playoffs.
He has every other year.
Every other year, yeah. I mean, it's just,
every other year he does well. So this is his shit year, and then the year after that he'll be decent.
He himself is neither sugar nor shit. All right.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the league for a long time, and he'll be a guy.
He'll be into his 30s.
You know who he reminds me of was, remember Fitzpatrick?
Oh yeah.
That kind of guy. On a given game, man, he'll come in and throw for 300 plus yards. He can do it.
Correct. And 3-4 touchdowns.
And he's good coming off the bench as a starting quarterback. Nah. I don't think he's big enough. I don't think he's quick enough. And I don't think he's decisive enough. And you can see, even with Tampa Bay last year, he holds onto the ball way too long. And he's still trying to make something happen.
Well, he can't see over the line because he's just that 5'11" guy. That's part of the problem. So he can't see open guys.
Keith, he's not hurt now. So let's see how he does. Okay.
And he got paid.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He got paid. He will be in the league.
He's not making rapey money, but he's doing all right.
He's doing, I mean, and that's a career in and of itself. And I'll tell you something: if he were putting him out on the field with marginal teams, he's going to get hurt because he's not big enough.
Correct.
But he's better off being a backup quarterback with teams where he doesn't play very much, because he'll last longer and make more money that way, because nobody's going to pay him big bucks now.
When he does come in, he'll be a change of pace and be more successful. So there you go.
So,
wow.
Well, and all of the teams in the NFC South, with the exception of my goddamn team, every team in the NFC South is now better. So,
wow.
Specifically New Orleans and Atlanta. So,
and I'm just, I know how you feel, Keith. It's like the Vikings game was not watchable. I stopped. I mean, it got to the point where it's like, no.
How is Topaz the Wolf anyway?
All right, so I'm done. I'm looking through all these comments, and I appreciate everyone showing up and making comments. That's really nice.
You're not used to not having to scroll through the comments, aren't you?
Yeah, right, exactly.
You used to crickets and moose call and
echoes.
Yeah,
Tampa has a tougher schedule this year. If they have a tougher
schedule means nothing.
Huh?
Schedule means nothing.
I disagree with that.
I think when your off week matters.
Yeah.
I think, who you play more times in a season because you're in a certain division matters.
Yeah.
I think it definitely does matter. And Baker Mayfield, if he's playing with an average team and he has a above average schedule, will lose to a lot of those teams. That's all. There's nothing. I'm not saying bad shit about him personally. He's just an average quarterback. He's not anything more, not anything less.
25 people watching, according to Rick May. That's like a new record.
Yeah, but I'm the only one that actually hit the fucking like button. I don't know what's wrong with the rest of you guys.
Oh, I don't think you get any more money for hitting the like button, do you?
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Thanks to Brian. Thanks to Moose. Thanks to David Talevsky.
Are we going to hear from Dick Goddard before you go, or no?
It's cold as hell. My nipples are hard. It's so cold outside.
Wow.
And I'll tell you something. I'm just tweaking them little fellas. It suddenly dropped down 66 degrees as a high today, and it's going down to the upper 40s.
That is cold.
I mean, Michelle is going to have titty hard-ons.
Wow.
Up in Michigan, it's going to get colder than a witch's tit.
Wow. Wow, nice segue there.
Betty! Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again come Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pasture Heads. Good night.
Bye.